Hi, this is Jessi with Live Design. I'm here with Zac Coren and Justin Clough. How are you?
Great.
All right, guys, tell me about your role out here on the Morgan Wallen tour.
I'm the creative producer and lighting designer.
And I'm the creative director.
Nice. So Zac, you've been with the tour quite some years. Justin, when did your involvement with this begin?
With this tour specifically, last August, I think, right? So they were kind of like underway in terms of getting things scheduled and whatnot, and they kind of had a lot of things already that they had been working on, and then they brought me into, they kind of wanted to start from the ground up in terms of what they were thinking structurally and creatively. So yeah, it was kind of like a total, like, started literally from, like, we had nothing when I came in creatively. So, and then I think we just kind of spent the last, or what did we spend, August to basically November developing that. We developed like concepts and structural concepts and thrust concepts, video wall concepts, lighting concepts. Kind of just went back and forth until we found the happy medium of what everybody thought could work and what Morgan was happy with.
And have you worked with Morgan before, Justin?
Yes, I've been working with Morgan for like about 10 years now. So I've done all sorts of different stuff creatively with him, all of the acoustic live sessions I've directed, and I worked with Zac on, honestly, a lot of those for at least probably 5 years now, since 2021. Working with Zac as an LD in the film world. And Zac actually he would branch out to the film world, I think, when he had downtime, because obviously the tour has been occupying his time for the last 5 years, so.
That's great. So it sounds like you two are very much collaborating on this project. Tell me about the creative vision for the tour.
I don't want to go too much into the design process, honestly, because I feel like we should sort of protect that, the way we're doing things, but I feel like the vision overall was very clear from the artist and what he wanted, and I think that our goal was just to make it feel big. I kind of came into it thinking like we have the opportunity sort of to make one of the biggest country shows of all time. We have the right artist and we have the right venues for it. So I think the goal was to kind of go as big as possible, and there were certain elements that I think there are certain elements within the show that really, design elements that lend themselves to that concept. So, and I think also a big thing for me, and something that Zac and I worked on a lot, was we didn't want it to be a show we didn't want it to be a video show with some lights around it, or a video wall with some lights around it. We wanted it to be a light show with a video wall. So we really wanted to make sure that we had that old rock and roll like lighting feel to it as well. If you turn the video wall off, it's still a badass lighting and pyro show.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, especially with that video floor out there and the shapes. So when you guys are working through, you're saying you're collaborating with Morgan a lot on what he wants, and you're helping to execute that. How are you doing it? Are you going all at once, like let's just build the design, or are you having separate conversations about design elements?
Yeah, I think we did a lot of mock-ups, like kind of getting some ideas, being able to fill those ideas out, and then being able to take them and develop them and talk with the whole team of like, okay, well, is this logistically possible? Or how can we achieve this idea in a way that is logistically possible? And giving ourselves time to push those boundaries a little bit further than maybe you normally would if you didn't have a lot of time to. And then being able to kind of get, something visual for then Justin to be able to take to work and like actually talk through and play around with some different ideas and kind of just continue to evolve the ideas from there.
How long ago did you start this design process?
Probably August.
August, yeah.
August, September.
I mean, yeah, August. I went to Michael's and bought a sketch pad and a ruler and a pen and just started drawing shit. So I think it was kind of like I have some pictures actually of the first drawings that I had in a sketchbook that, once we kind of started to get those where they wanted to be, I think it's a whole other thing to take. Really, I would draw 3 or 4 different sketches of things that could work, and Murph was sketching things, you were sketching things. To be honest, it wasn't just me. Everybody was kind of sketching things out, and then making sure that those things could work from an engineering standpoint before putting them in front of management and people downstream.
mean, there's a lot going on out there. Zach, tell me a little bit about this, all the various stages, the viewpoints, the elements of an airplane.
Yeah, I think just this show in general, like with Morgan in general, I feel like he's usually really big on just like fan interaction and just, you know, even though the show is so big, it's still being able to like get in front of as many people as possible in a way that feels like real and genuine to those people. So we've been doing the what we call the C stage behind front house. We've been doing that for a long time, so kind of continue to do that and making spaces for him, sort of stage left and stage right, which we've done in the past, creating these B stages for him to kind of go to and play a couple songs for those people. And even in the thrust, it's like we kind of really intentionally said, okay, like how do we make the thrust like as big as possible to where we're not killing a ton of seats or whatever, but we're able to get him out like closer to people. So like the wings being really long, like he can get really far out. Creates all more barricade line for him to like interact with just more people. There's just more surface area for people to be. And I think
the wings are actually as long, or as wide as the thrust is long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and even down to like the placement of those B stages, like we really intentionally were like, oh, like the sight lines even from those seats are like back there. It's like you still see a really good portion of the show. You still see the band. You still see the thrust. Like there's not really a bad seat in the whole venue, you know, for the most part, because of just how intentional we were with sight lines.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing having seen it. Of all these elements, what are you the most proud of?
I would say the content.
Yeah, I mean, content's really cool. I think, you know, I'm obviously partial to lighting, so I love how many lights we have. And
How many is that?
It's probably like 1,600, I think was the last number that I heard.
At least 280,000 pounds of lights,
Yeah.
Just above the video wall.
Yeah.
That doesn't include other.
Yeah, it's a lot of lights, and I think that lighting really is a big part of the show, which is exciting to me. And I think video, you know, if you overdo video, it can kind of just, the show can feel a little stale. So I think keeping lighting like really present and at the top of the priority list is definitely cool to do.
Yeah, I mean, even walking through the crew, there's a ton of cameras on him too.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely increased from the past, right?
Yeah, I think coming from the film world, the stage, like a lot of the design and the elements of the stage, like it was important. I was always kind of thinking about how cameras can integrate into that. And, you know, I think one of the things with the big video wall is it's not just, when you have a video wall that size, I actually feel like it shrinks the venue in a sense, because you never feel like you can't see it, even when you're all the way up in the 400s or nosebleeds. It's so big that you have such a clear picture of him and where he's at on the stage. And I think that obviously when you have a video wall that big, how the cameras are incorporated into that is incredibly important. And I mean, we went through a lot of different iterations, and we had like in Minneapolis, I think I went through we had a full like 4-hour crash course where we sat down and blocked out cameras for every song, and like everybody just kind of did everything together. And the camera integration, in my opinion, with the content is something that I think we're all probably, I'm super proud of it. I think the camera team is proud of it. I feel like everybody should be proud of it, because that's not just integrating cameras into the content, it's the lighting also having to work with what the camera is shooting that works within the context of the content. So there's a lot of things to think about, I think.
In all those things that you're thinking about, what do you think was one of the more complicated pieces to figure out?
Of like the whole show?
Or
I think just the general logistics of just the size of everything. Like I think any stadium show would have that same answer, is like, you know, camera, it's like, okay, well, there's so many places you can go. We need more cameras for more coverage, or you know, spotlights, there's so many places you can go. Make sure you have coverage there, like making sure the band feels lit, and the logistical concerns about like how we can light them in certain ways to make sure that they still feel in the show. Or even, I mean, like the video floors, we spent a lot of time
I was
looking
just
at
going to say the floors
of,
actually.
like, how does that translate? Like you can go up to the top level and look at it, but then certain sight lines see certain different things. So like how do you make sure that like all of it feels cohesive and like technically works, but also aesthetically hits the goal?
Yeah, I think the floors, I would probably say the floors. I think even the content team, they didn't struggle with the floors, but just conceptually, it was almost always like something that you have to add on to remember to do. And when we have these floors are like 10K renders, like they're massive renders. They're arguably bigger renders than what's actually on the screen. So I think integrating those floors, and then also you have to remember that the light from those floors is going to have a huge impact on how Morgan looks. So making sure that those floors are, and then there are also technical challenges with using a new product. Like we got into liddits and there was a whole bunch of shit that didn't work that we thought would work because of some technical issues with the product. So then they all had to get redesigned, and then from there it was sometimes they were too bright, and when Morgan's running it's like the floor for just in case. It was really flashy, and I think it was kind of disturbing. When you're standing on stage and walking, it's like really disorienting, especially with how the black levels in those floors are, I think, add to that. So we also had, like, for Chasing You, there was a road floor and it was moving. When you stood on stage, it was so, it's like when you're parked and there's a truck like moving and you can't tell if you're moving or the truck is moving. It just was like super disorienting. So yeah, I think the floors were super challenging, but I think for people up in the upper deck, that's one of the coolest parts of the show. And it also just respects every seat in the house. I think it says, like, look, we thought about how to make sure you guys have the coolest visual experience no matter where you're sitting.
Yeah, and watching Morgan move around, it feels like this show is huge, but it still has a lot of personal elements to it, the way he moves about. When you're working with him, how does that come up in the design conversation?
I think there wasn't actually a ton of discussion about it, other than the fact that everybody who's ever been to a Morgan show or seen anything with him knows he likes to run around on stage. So really, I think when thinking about it, it's like, how can we do that? Just give him the freedom to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants, which is also kind of where the idea of wrapping those wings around the back of the stage came from, just because we had that space there, and actually connect. Like last year, the B stages, it was like a,
There was like stairs you had to get up to like a whole separate deck.
yeah.
And I think looking at that, like, that was really cool for what it did. It created like a really interesting, almost more like camera focused moment. But I think we kind of were able to look at that and go, oh, well, he really likes going to those people. He really likes going out that way. Like, how do we just make that more accessible? Like, now that that's like a thing that he's doing, like, how do we just continue that further? And like, you know, I think any show that I think we've ever done, like, or seen of him, it's like he'll go to the edge of every area of a stage. So it's like, if you could just push him out a little bit further, he'll use it. He'll go there. He'll go try to see those people. So we started looking at like how to make it wider, like asking the question of like, well, how wide can we really make it? Like, logistically, how wide can we make it? Like, where does it have to end?
I think the in cut of the video wall too, you know, the shape of the video wall is supposed to look like the hull of a ship, and the way that in cuts naturally, like if you look at like a Taylor Swift show, when she goes over there, she has to like peek around the side of the video wall, but because ours in cuts, it respects those seats in a far better way, in my opinion. And that's not a knock on her, but it's like people who sit in those 270 seats have full sight line to the end of the thrust, the extension of the wing, and they have that whole area that's completely free of view. So they're really only losing like 30% of the stage, as opposed to you go to any other show and I feel like you lose 75 to 80% of the stage, or you just get an artist to peek around the corner and wave, and that's all you got. So.
Well, it's amazing. You guys are building quite a huge stage out there for country's biggest superstar right now. The work is amazing. Congratulations. Tour is awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with next. You guys have been together for a long time, and it sounds like this crew wants to continue to be together. What is the thing that makes this tour so special to be part of?
I think it's honestly the people, and I think when you get enough people together for a long enough time, you start to build like a good workflow, and just setting like a good tone of just like how everybody wants to work together. It is a big show, and there's a lot of pressures and things that go along with it, but still trying to keep it as much of a family as possible, and just try to keep people connected, and obviously put the show first, but also just try to help people along the way. And I think like bringing like you into all of it, and just having like a good foundation for you to walk into is what sets it up for success. It's like you can bring in new people, and they kind of just settle into a workflow that does work, and it also allows everybody to be a little bit more creative and push things a little further, because everybody can just, you can just hammer out details really fast. Like, we get on weekly calls, and even still with the tour on the road, like, we're still getting on weekly calls. And we may have nothing to talk about, but we're still on those calls, and maybe we talk for 20 minutes about nothing, but everybody's just constantly in communication. It just keeps things always evolving.
This team's been pretty incredible, honestly. For like, I came in this year, I knew all these guys. I've known all of them for a while, but coming in and the way that they helped me integrate, like, I can't imagine having worked honestly with a better team in regard to.
It's a really healthy, beautiful way to live, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
awesome. Yeah.
enjoy your life at work and outside of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, that's great, guys. Thanks so much for sharing all of this. Live Design viewers, I'm going to add a couple links below this video. We'll dig into the design some more with Zac, and we'll look forward to all the great things to come from the two of you. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Yeah.